Hey everyone, how's it going? It's been quite some time, hasn't it? I've definitely been neglecting you, and I think you deserve a video. You deserve several, but I don't really have that kind of time, and I'm sorry. But the first thing you're going to notice is that the differential is gone. There's also another one that was lying on the ground. It is gone. Um, to bring you up to speed real quick, the Dana 44 was completely no good. So we ended up going with a Ford 8.8, changing out the gears to like a 456 or 465. I forget the gear ratio. I wasn't really paying attention, just building it, trying to get it out to get my garage back, basically. My next project, and this is mostly just to appease you guys, is I'm going to get this running. Now, I don't have any of the electrical with it. As you see, this is all I have. But the good thing is, it has a carburetor, and it's pretty clean inside. I've already opened it up. It has a compression release. That's good. It spins over. It has a lot of compression. No exhaust, so it'll be loud. So, if you're familiar with this at all, this is a Suzuki 650 out of like I think a S40. I forget what it's called. It's like a 95 year range. I'll look it up just to make sure, so I'm giving you some proper information. But these run off of the ignition module, like a transistor style. So they run off the ignition module, a transistor style, which I've been trying to look for. Everyone wants a pretty penny for it. So I have a thing I want to try. You notice that I have coils hanging up and I have some spark plug leads. But I have this. And the keen to you will know exactly what this is. This is an ignition module for a 350 Chevy, mid-80s. And I think this will work because this is a Hall effect sensor in here, the same as a HEI distributor. So I think it'll work. But first, we have to build a frame, and I'll show you the Hall effect sensor. We can go from there. So frame first. Actually, no. Let's go show you the magnetic pickup. Then I'll build a frame, and then we'll wire up probably the starter, so I don't have to spin it over by hand. There's no way I could start it like that. I'll have to add some oil, probably change the oil filter. But yeah, wire it up too. So we're gonna go through that, and we're gonna have some fun. All right, so this is the Hall effect sensor in here. Every time this magnetic strip passes by it, as it rotates, this should create a voltage spike and send it to the ignition module, which then should turn off the power to the coil, collapsing the field and sending the spark to the spark plug. This is all theory because I have no idea if this is going to give the correct timing. This thing's quite large, as you see. That's a big magnetic strip. Hopefully it'll be within time. I'm gonna have to check it later once it's running, if it does, with my timing light, which is gonna be interesting because how am I gonna? There must be timing marks somewhere on here. I'll have to read up on it. But let's spin this engine over, show you how much compression this has. I'm trying to get my ratchet right now. Sorry. I have my socket right here. Oh, I'm going to need two hands. That's a lot of compression. So actually, I'll go. Yeah, that's a lot. That's some good compression. I think it'll be a runner. But let's get this case on. Yeah, I guess. Well, someone's been in here before me. I guess I could just use RTV. Ordering a gasket will be dropping a bolt. Yay. Ordering a gasket will take forever because COVID. And it doesn't really prove that the engine runs, so why waste money right now? How about we get it running and then throw a new gasket in there? Is that okay with you guys if I do that? Well, I'm going to do it anyways. So I'm going to get this back on. So here I am patting myself on the back because I cleaned up all the gasket material and put down some new, like not JB Weld, but RTV. So yeah, patting myself on the back, did a good job, remembered where all the bolts went. Yeah, this butthead forgot a gear to the starter. Looks like I get to take it apart again. Alright, so now that I've RTV'd this, it's time to take it out so I can put the starter gear back in. Isn't that fun, huh? Wonder how well this stuff held up. I cleaned it pretty good, but there's no guarantee. I did not torque these down. I just snugged them up. You get that one? Yeah. Try not to get my hands in the way, huh? Isn't that fun, huh? Yeah. Every time I pull this cover off, I drop the bolts, and then I spend about 10 minutes trying to figure out where they go, and I never remember. It's just trial and error. There's one long bolt and one really short bolt, and there's about 4 medium and I think 3 medium large. If that makes sense. Almost done. Okay, so I think I forgot 2. Yeah. So is the smoke affecting you guys? It is pretty thick over here. I'd show you, but we're doing this right now. I had the garage door closed so I don't have to breathe it. There's a prying mark here, and I think there's one over here. Not much of one. Right here. Remember, everything's a pry bar and everything's a hammer. Okay, there's that side. The dowel pins really keep this on pretty good, and then there's the magnet behind this case that pulls the stator right back down. They're all loose. Yep. Just not much to grab onto. Come on. It wants to. Do you want me to bring it back so you don't have to see me fiddling with it? Alright, bring it back. I know. And of course, as soon as I pause this, it comes right off. Anyways, this gear goes right here, but the dowel's on the other side of the cover. Yep, there it is. So dowel goes there. It's a nice tight fit. And as you see, starter gear rotates this ring. When it spins the other way, it locks in. And you see that little movement, but it is spinning. So that allows it to free spin when it's running. And then when the starter kicks on, it engages this one-way clutch in here. Alright, now we can put it back together once we clean up this surface. There's not a whole lot on it. Wonder if it even tacked up. Now I get to drop the bolts out of the case right there and clean up the surfaces. And then once I clean it up, I'll bring you back and we'll put the case back on, okay? Alright, we're back. Now normally you're not wanting to use these red shop towels. They leave a lot of lint, and you don't want that in your oil passages or anything, because it might score up the bearings, but you know, it's what I got. It's the running theme of this build is just do with what we have. So make sure all these surfaces are clean. There's still some RTV, not a whole lot. I think we can seal it up. In case you don't know, they also suggest not using RTV because it leaves little strings of it inside the case that might eventually break off and once again get into your oil passages and screw them up. Yeah, let's go case side with this. I'm putting on some RTV. Trying to do it lightly. Yeah. Right in the bolt hole. Yeah, that's great. Go a little thicker on the bottom, even though it's going to squish out and create those little RTV strings. I think it'll run. I'm hopeful. That's what I get for being hopeful though, right? Now don't let me forget to put the dowels back in. They go right here and right here. It's a lot of RTV. I don't like it. I'd rather use a gasket. Believe me. But like I said earlier, we're going to make sure it runs and then we're going to do this properly. Because, you know, we do it right because we do it 3 times. You want to follow the instructions. Sometimes this takes about 24 hours to fully cure. Yeah, it will dry in like 15, but it takes time to cure. So you don't want to fill it up with oil or run it until it's fully cured. Otherwise it will develop a leak. It's the plus side of a gasket is so long as you don't add RTV on it, it's almost good to go. You can add sealer, I guess. Makes it a little harder to pull off. I've heard people using lithium grease on their gaskets, especially for like motorcycles where you have to take off this cover quite frequently, maybe on the clutch side. And the lithium grease allows it not to stick but still seal. Dowel pins. Get off the RTV. Big one goes here. Right there. And the little one goes over here on the bottom. If you can see that. Now we flip it up and hope and pray. Oh, freaking magnet. Alright, it's fully seated, and I made a little cardboard punch to put my bolts so I can try to remember. This, the small one, goes right here, and then like so. Doing clockwise, and I think I already screwed up the bolt. That one should go there. I think this one goes there. Watch, they're all wrong. That one's way too big. Alright, so this wasn't the best idea. I see where you go. This big one goes over here. Wow, how did I screw that up? That's some skill. And then hopefully I go back in. Now on the instructions it'll also say do not completely torque down. That way the gasket gets air and it'll cure. If you clamp it down right away, it'll just stay gummy. Crisscross pattern, not that I'm torquing it, just so it gets fully seated and it's not cockeyed, causing leaks or who knows what. Crack case, that would be bad, because I don't want to spend money on this. Not yet, at least. Not until I know it runs. Case would be no fun. Oh, not the case, the cover. Sorry. You know what I mean. And my hand's in the way. Yay. Alright. That one's tight. Oh, cinched. Alright, go back around. I just do a circle. I'm doing 2-finger tight. Not even a full grunt. And then we're going to let it sit and dry. Push this back, sit it back in the frame. And then my lovely piston that holds it up from rocking forward. Ta-da! So, there it is. I got some brackets to hopefully make some sort of hold down for this engine. This is what they look like. They're an L bracket. I think I can at least get it on one of these bolt holes on the bottom. And they're bolted to like a piece of wood or maybe even the workbench. But that would leave holes in the workbench. So I'm probably going to go with in a piece of board. And I have plenty of those lying around. Now to get the bolts. So thank you for coming around. You know what? No, let's take off the carburetor. And I'll show you how clean it is. Alright, so the carburetor is loose on there. I can pull it off like that. It's pretty clean inside. Moves and actuates as it should. A little dirty down here. But I'll show you the bowl. And how clean it is. I'm still going to squirt some carb cleaner through the passages just so I know they're not clogged up and give it a better chance of dropping stuff. Running. So 4 bolts hold this on. So it's a little dirty, not too bad, honestly. Telltale is in here. There's not much in there. Maybe a little grime. Seems to be the running theme of this engine. But yeah, so I'm going to put it back together. You think I should pull out the jets? I don't think so. Gasket's still good. Not torn. Enriching valve. Some people call it the choke. You know what? I think it's good. I'll brush it down before putting it back together. Then slap it back on. I don't know if you want to be around for it, but you know, I'll record it. You can let me know. So as I was taking it apart, I noticed something right away. Right here is not sealing, and it looks like someone put it away not all the way in its seat. This is very important to seal all the way. This is a constant velocity carburetor, and what it does is basically this diaphragm, there should be a port. Is it a port on the top? I think it's a port on the top, although I don't see any. Maybe through the bottom, through the slide. It allows the vacuum to draw this up and allow more air in. But the reason why they do that is for a better mixture. It's completely separate from the throttle. So it actually does a little bit better at metering the fuel as you open up the throttle. I'm not too familiar with the constant velocity, so I'm not going to preach to you. But I know that this diaphragm needs to be sealing properly. Take that out. Looks a little scuffed. Might add a little lube. But that looks really clean in there. Some more jets. I took out this bottom jet. Looks a little dirty. I believe you can press it from the top or the bottom. Well, there's only two ways, huh? So let's try. No. Yep. Through the pushes from the bottom up. As you see, it's now protruding a little. I can push it back up. That's where the needle valve, this, seats into there. So we're going to take it out all the way. Somehow. There we go. Tiny screwdriver. Okay, got it out. Then what I like to do is put the valve, the seat, the needle valve back in. See how well. Yeah, feels all right. I don't think this is an adjustable needle. Some of them have an E-clip. You can adjust the height, so it adjusts how much fuel comes out of there. This is the main jet, I believe, where most of the fuel comes out. A little dirty. I can see right through it though. I don't know if you can. Yeah, you can. Cool. So that's clean-ish. There's a tiny, tiny valve in there. I'm probably guessing that's the idle valve, no, idle jet, not valve, sorry. And I don't have a screwdriver on me that small. I'm just going to hope it is clean. And the float works. Alright, not too bad. Let's take out this one. Okay. That's really clean. That is really clean. You can see right through it. And it still has the nice brass finish, unlike the main jet is dull. And still see through it, but it is dirty. I think it'll be fine. I keep saying that. Oh, it'll be fine. So I'm going to put this back in. Notice that there's a little notch right here. See that? It goes only in one way. And that has to go back from the top. How am I going to get that? I don't have anything really that small. Huh, I might. There we go. Now I need to rotate it. But how? My fingers aren't that small. I'm doing this off the camera, sorry. This is interesting. Come on. It's almost there. Oh, too far. If it's not too far the one way, it's too far the other way. Keep overshooting it. Urgh. Come on. Alright, finally got it fully seated in there. And it's not protruding at all. So I'm going to put this back together and throw it on the motorcycle, making sure to get that in all the way. Kind of worried about that. Yeah, see that little tab right there? It's a little bit longer, and there's a little tab that lines up right for it. And it looks like it seats all the way. Put on the top. Don't forget the spring. Perfect. It is warm in here. I wish I could open up the garage. It's cooler out there, probably about 15 degrees. But, like I said, lots of smoke. Not good for your lungs. I've been having to work out in that for months now. I'd say a month straight. You get 1 or 2 days that are clear. But all these fires, just not doing it. Hope they take care of it soon. Hope everyone stays safe. I am well within the safe zone, so don't worry about me. That and there's not much to burn over here. Alright. One more. And I'll put the bowl back on. A little fidgety there, huh? Right. Now, push this. Maybe a little too far. Oh, I did it again. Remember when I took that out? Guess what I have to take apart? The top. Alright, I'm gonna bring you back once I get that back in. Alright, got it back on with the valve. Not the valve. The jet. I also got this one in. Now we can put the bowl back on. Oh, look at that. Yep. Almost did it again, huh? So I guess the next episode, I'm going to start on the brackets and a board to set this up on, and then the electrical. And I'll run them through you so you can see how I'll probably incorrectly do it. And there's no guarantee it'll work, but it's worth a try, right? I believe I told you that they want a lot of money for the ignition module. Oh man, I can't talk. For this specific motorcycle. So I spent maybe a fraction of that, and I got the Chevy one, which there's no guarantee it'll work. There we go. Pops right on. You can see that. Oh. So yeah, thank you very much for staying with me and watching my screw-ups. This has been fun. I'll see you next time. And yeah, thank you.